Almost 1 billion people around the world don't have enough food to eat. That's according to the United Nations World Food Program. But in a potentially world-changing discovery, scientists led by a team from the University of Chicago have found a way to manipulate RNA to boost crop production by a lot. In field tests, both rice and potato plants increased their yields by 50% and also became more resistant to drought. Joining us now is one of the scientists who led this research, Xuan He, the John T. Wilson Distinguished Service Professor of Chemistry, Biochemistry, and Molecular Biology at the University of Chicago. Thanks so much for joining us. And if you could please begin explaining, how is it that you were able to modify these plants so that they can grow and produce so much more?
Yeah, my work is in the field of gene expression regulation. So as you said, we work on RNA that profoundly affects gene expression. So what we discovered is essentially a switch that regulates plant growth. And this switch is previously not known to scientists. We've shown a simple way to activate that switch so that plants grow with deeper roots, a lot more biomass, and of course, more yields for crops.
How easy is it to flip this switch on or off?
It's actually quite easy. Now, for most plants, previously people would have to learn how their gene expression is wired in order to figure out new ways to boost their growth. And here what we show is that we do not need to know much about a particular plant. We can add this human protein into the plant and boost its growth. So it seems to be a quite general approach.
And we're seeing on our screen, on the left, the controls, and on the right, these much larger plants and potatoes produced by those plants. So you've tried flipping this switch on rice and on potatoes, but will it work on more than that?
That's a good question. In fact, in addition to rice and potatoes, my collaborators have tried other plants. So far, we've tested 5 to 6 different types of plants, including trees and grass. And in all these cases, the approach in general worked for all of them.
So trees and grass, in what ways might that be helpful? I think it's obvious, perhaps, if you yield more rice, more potatoes, that could help to feed people with food insecurities. But what would a tree with deeper roots mean, or having grasses that are more plentiful?
Right. Well, I always joked with trees with deeper roots, right? Here I'm in Hyde Park. When the storm comes over, blow over our trees with deeper roots will probably survive the storm better. Now, what's really happening is these trees and grass grow with more biomass. They have increased the photosynthesis and they grow with a lot more branches.
And by growing those branches, deeper roots, could that have an impact? For instance, we're talked a lot about climate change and more storms, more severe storms, and further, more droughts and more severe droughts.
Yeah, that's a great question. As you just said, the first sort of thing come to our mind is of course food security, right? It's not a major concern for this country, but for the rest of the world, it's a pretty significant challenge, particularly with growing population. Now, in addition to food, I also want to mention the plant stock materials, right? Plants offer a lot more other things to us. We rely on plants for, say, woods, rubber, natural products, and flowers. We think we have a general way to boost the production of all these materials. Now, speak about climate change. These plants have deeper roots and they're more drought resistant. And we're really hopeful that they survive under extreme growth conditions better. So we envision these plants can preserve or even improve ecosystems. They can perhaps prevent spread of deserts and better solidify soils, and at the same time offer more biomass. Now, lastly, I want to say that as you mentioned, if we can produce more foods, right? People may not need to cut trees down to have more lands for farming. So hopefully we can save these lands to preserve forests.
And yet you're, of course, manipulating plant proteins through RNA. And Many people are concerned about genetically modified foods. So how can people be secure that foods produced in this way would be safe to eat?
That's a great question. So genetically modified means you directly modify DNA. Now we work on RNA, we added RNA, we do not need to touch DNA. So in principle, we do not need to genetically modify plant. Now in reality, in this paper or in research, we do add this human protein into plant genomic DNA in order to observe this phenotype. However, we've already worked out a way to avoid adding any genetic modifications to plant genome. So in the real world application, when this really be translated to solve, say, our challenges, we're going to apply approach without genetic modified plants.
So you would eat one of those potatoes, or did you try one of those giant potatoes?
I would love to. We haven't done that, but I would eat the potatoes even out of the genetically modified. But as I said, in the real applications, we're going to avoid completely the genetic modification.
And then before we wrap up, how soon might this be used beyond the laboratory? What is the future of this research?
Right. Say I'm a basic scientist, so my focus in the future will be trying to understand what's really going on. But I, of course, welcome different research labs, corporates, or entities to work with us and collaborate with us, apply this to solve real-world challenge. I would predict that in 3 to 5 years, we'll see it being used in real fields. And hopefully in 5-6 years, we may start to see this impacts our everyday life.
Well, we hope to have you back to learn more about that. Much appreciation. Our thanks to Xuan He.
Thank you.